Welcome to miniOrange. This video will explain how to create a free trial account with us and demonstrate SAML single sign-on integration with Google Apps. Go to miniOrange.com. Click on Free Trial to create the account. Use your corporate email ID to fill in the details. Select your area of interest from the wide range of options and sign up. You will receive an email with username and password. The login page will be redirected when you click here. Enter the provided login credentials in the administrator console. Select Guide to secure Google Apps present on your dashboard. Now let's go through the guide, step by step. As you can see, we need to first configure the app. For that, go to Apps present on menu bar. Then click on Configure Apps. Now select application name as Google Apps. Let's go back to the guide for ACS URL. Paste the ACS URL and instead of domain name type your own domain. Type the email ID of the administrator of your Google Apps domain and click on Save. As we can see, Google Apps has been added successfully in the application list. You can edit or delete the app later. The next step is download the certificate, so let's do the same. This certificate will be used later. The next step, as we can see, is to go to Policies tab and select App Authentication Policy. Following the guide, add a new policy for Google Apps. Click on Add Policy. Select the application name as Google Apps and assign the policy to a specific group. Give a name to your policy and select your first factor type. Enable second factor. If you enable first factor as mobile, then there is no need for second factor. Google Apps policy gets added to the list of policies. Now click on Onboard Users into our system from View Policy tab. Scroll up the guide and select Step 2, that is Onboard Users. Click on the Google Apps login link provided in the first step of the guide. Sign in using your Google Apps Service Administrator's account. The next step is to select users from Google Administrator's dashboard. You can see the list of users associated with the same domain. On selecting Download Users, a CSV file containing details of the users gets downloaded. Now going back to Onboard Users page, select your default country code. Note down your customer key, and download the sample CSV file to upload the users. Following the pattern, type in the details of the users. First type in the noted customer key. Then its action, that is to add. Then the phone number of the user. Email, first name and last name can be obtained from the CSV file of Google Apps. The next parameter is to either auto-register the user or no. If yes, then next is to assign a password. In the similar way, fill in the details of the rest. Then delete all the other parts in the CSV file and save it. Choose the saved file back in the bulk users page and upload it. Send the activation link to the users by clicking here. You can see the number of users registered in green portion and unregistered in the red portion of the pie chart. You can send the activation links again to unregistered users. You can also add a single user by typing in the details of the user here. After onboarding of users, the next step is to register users. As the first step says, an email with the registration link, which is valid for 5 days, is sent to your email. Log in with the credentials in the self-service console. Now in the Register User page, fill in the alternate email ID and assign a new password. In the second step, you need to select a strong authentication method for second factor. Let's select mobile authentication for this user. On clicking here, you can have the methods to download our app, IMMe. The link to the Play Store or Apple Store is provided. You can also scan the barcode for link using a third-party scanner. Or we can send the link through SMS in your registered number. After downloading the app, click on Configure and scan the barcode. Mobile authentication gets registered successfully. After registering for second factor, you need to answer security questions. Select any 2 questions from the list and make one of yours, and answer them. On clicking Save, you will enter the dashboard. In the same way, we will register another user but with another second factor authentication method, that is, push notification. To configure push notification, we also have to download the app, IMMe. And it's also configure in the same way as mobile authentication. After registration, complete the security questions step. The next step after successful registration of users is set up single sign-on using SAML. As per the guide, go to Google Apps Admins Console and select Security. Next, select Set up Single Sign-On. Navigate to the next step in the guide. Scroll down to Set up Single Sign-On. In Google Apps page. First, select Set up SSO with third-party identity provider. Enter the sign-in page URL as shown in the guide. For sign out page URL, enter your own Google Apps domain instead of domain name. Next, fill in the change password URL as given. Upload the certificate which you previously downloaded, after configuring the app in the first step. Then click on Save. Congratulations, you have successfully set up the single sign-on for Google Apps. You can now log into Google Apps using 2 methods. First is identity provider that IDP initiated, login through miniOrange console. And second is service provider that is SP initiated, login through Google. First we will try IDP initiated. Login using miniOrange credentials. Pass the second factor authentication by scanning the barcode using the app, IMMe. After successfully validation, you will enter the dashboard. You will be now redirected to Google Apps page by clicking here, without logging into Google. Now we will show SP initiated, login through your email ID. On clicking next, you will be redirected to miniOrange self-service console. Login using miniOrange credentials. Pass the second factor authentication, that is push notifications. You will receive a push notification through the app, I am me. Click on accept to continue the transaction. After accepting the transaction, you will be redirected to Google Apps page. And hence securing Google Apps. Thank you for choosing miniOrange. For more information, visit us at miniorange.com, or contact us at info@miniorange.com.